What's good? What's good? What's good?
What's up, baby?
Man, we rocking this morning. It's kind of dark outside, though. Y'all see that?
know.
Man, it's
Different
switched
mornings.
up on them.
It is, yeah.
But we beat the sun up, man. I like it.
Facts,
Yeah. Y'all been
facts.
affected by the daylight savings yet?
Boy, what?
Man, I can't go to sleep.
Bro,
I
go
can't
to
fall-
sleep.
I
I
can't-
can't get up.
I can't fall
That's
asleep.
me. Losing that hour of sleep is real right now.
I can't fall asleep. So before I could get into bed now, it's 11 o'clock at the time I would have normally been going to sleep around 10. So then when that happens, I just
Yeah,
can't fall
mine
asleep.
is not even that I can't get up. I shouldn't have said that. Mine is that I'm just tired.
Mhm.
I'm just
I got you.
fatigued.
I got you.
I'm just like, yo.
I've been I'm on day 6 right now, going to the gym every day, Planet Fitness. Shout out to Planet Fitness, y'all know.
What time you been going?
Honestly, the only free time I have is at night. So I go about 11:30 and I get up out of there about 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I go home, then just, kind of rest
11:30
out.
at night to
Mhm.
1 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I got it all to myself. That's why I love the place.
So do you get up at 5?
The days we got to get up at 5. You know what I'm saying?
Don't, be careful burning the candle at
Hey,
both
bro,
ends.
what?
Right? Be careful.
I'm there with you. I'm there with you.
But I just want to go back just to get this on season 4 of Doug was about to stop that daggone membership. You remember?
Yeah.
Doug was about to stop that membership.
We had a talk. We had a nice talk.
I said, Doug, it's only $10, brother. You just try to go once a month would pay for that $10.
They upped the price, $19.99, but it's okay. It's still money's worth right
That's
now.
it.
You know what I'm
That's it.
saying? And honestly,
They upped it.
They upped it, yeah.
Oh,
$19.99. So you got to get your money's worth go a couple times,
I didn't know they upped it. I thought that was just for the black card. I thought the regular membership was
Oh, so I got the black card.
You got
I
the
thought that
black
was
card.
an up.
You did that so you could bring a guest.
Yes.
You know what you
You
know what
know.
you're doing.
Accountability.
All of a
accountability is key.
All of a sudden, Doug is at the
But-
gym at 11:30 at night.
11:30 at night.
How do we turn that into something
Sound
like
like
that?
a sneaky link to me.
Forget the club. We
Sound
going
like
to
a link to me. 'Cause
Planet.
Do you go
Come to
back home?
Planet Fitness.
Do you go
Fitness.
back home after that 1 o'clock? After 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
Or
But
do you
I couldn't
just
be
stay
signing
out
on that
there?
one. Yeah, I'm out. No, yeah, go home, get some more work done.
But
Last-
isn't it crazy how 1 hour out of your day
Mhm.
can transform your life?
That's 2.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, that's an hour and a half. I'm sorry,
You're right. Dom.
hour and a half.
And it's really just
You're not working out for a whole hour and a half. Bro.
There's no way.
There's no
Mhm.
way. At
I
all.
do.
No,
that's the
Doug.
crazy thing
What
about
did you
it.
do
So they got
yesterday?
this
What was
machine.
your
So look, we did legs. We did legs.
Stop.
Started off with stretching, then got on the bike for a little bit. Then they got the machine in the corner where they got the 30-minute reps, red light, green light. You
Okay.
do that, then just went over to the benches and did a couple more curls on my legs, and I was good.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I don't
You don't rush.
exactly.
Okay.
And that's why I'm in there by myself. I ain't trying to impress nobody. You know what I'm saying? And it's smooth.
That boy in
That's
there
what's
in
up.
full jean outfit.
Now,
But no, man. What's up though, man?
man, everything's going good
Yeah.
right now. I've been kind of tuned back into the NCAA, keeping up with college. Just that whole dynamic and that change right now. And honestly makes me think about when I used to be in school and just how different it is now. I know we talked about college a couple times, but just
Shout out to
Yeah.
relate you.
you better say it.
The
I haven't-
Hampton University.
I have no clue what's going on in college sports right now. Is it March Madness right now?
It's about to
It's
start.
about to start.
And shout out to Norfolk State University. We made it. You ain't got anything to say over there, Dan?
Hampton had to leave the MEAC.
That is right.
That-
Y'all
that-
chose to
that's
leave.
it.
Y'all
That's all
chose
that
to
matters.
leave.
Hey, regardless.
Where y'all
man.
at now?
Yeah, look.
With Radford, I forget the name of
Big
the
South?
Big South. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, hey, but neither here nor
Y'all
there,
some
man.
new
No,
gear.
but no. Support the HBCU. Shout out to Norfolk State for making it to the dance.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. And it's so funny, just that whole term "make it," because somebody else was just talking recently about how why is like in our culture, in order to make it, it has to be like sports or music, or it's kind of just those couple categories.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And I don't
Yeah.
mean to generalize us.
No. I think it's a part of
Yeah, right.
it has a lot to do with accessibility.
Mm.
And exposure. I know X talks about that a lot, but accessibility and exposure leads many individuals within our culture to go towards sports. If you've seen so many before you play sports, then that kind of pushes you to go into sports. But at the same time, as I try to teach athletes, is really using sports as a vehicle, and that's the thing that I feel like is super important, because sports can. First time I rode an airplane was because of sports. So sports can do a lot for
I
you,
like that.
but it's all about the exposure and what you can do afterwards.
I feel that.
I think it's definitely a mix of that, and then you got to think it's just almost like rappers. Like kids nowadays want to either be a rapper or YouTube or, you know, an athlete, because that's the first thing that they see that they can make it out.
Right.
You don't see too many around here, at least you don't see too many black, you know what I'm saying, leaders or black, you see black leaders, but you don't even see too many like black millionaires or wealthy black people that little kids. Think about the kids we got downstairs. They're not looking around seeing a whole bunch of us.
True.
So the first thing they look at is like, all right, who is doing what I want to do and making it big and getting their family out? How are they doing it? Then that's the way I got to do it.
Right.
Whether it's YouTube or rapping or being an athlete. And so compared to, you know, other cities, it's the same thing. But I always tell, like, those other big cities, they have so much more accessibility to go see a college game, to go see like a professional game, things like that. When's the last time you think our kids seen a professional game like in person, or seen a professional athlete, or been around a professional athlete? In bigger cities, that's like, oh yeah, that's so and so, that's so and so, yeah. So I think it's just like that. It's just like that rapper thing of just like, if you see that person riding in a Benz, chains on, and that's what your parents have exposed you to, and nothing else, then unfortunately that's what you're gonna want to be like.
And if that's your like expose you to, and if that's your idea of success,
if that's
what you see as success, because I don't have that, so that's what I feel as if success is.
See, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
I was gonna say what worries me though is like, for example, I was working with some mentees yesterday. We're about 12 kids in the room, and I said, "How many of y'all play sports?" All 12 of them raised their hands, and it was kind of like, so they were asking me, "Well, what happens next if we don't play next year?" And it was like I didn't have an answer for them, because that's all of their motivation about to go out the window. It's kind of like, what do you do? What do you replace that with, or can you replace that?
I don't think we try to replace it. I don't think we try to replace it. I just think we have to recognize how much of an impact sports have on kids, right? And not, you know, and that's why I think it's more than a game when we play sports, is because it affects so much. Think about it. When you're born, you have your physical abilities. That's it, right? So you start to learn to do physical things even before you ever step foot into a school. So the first thing that you're, you know, learning to do is walk, run, jump, do all of those things. So that's why athletics, especially in the Black community, is can be so important, because we can gauge you early of how fast you run, how high you jump at an early age, even before we see grades on a report card, right? So we can, he's going to be tall, he can do this, and then we start to categorize, you know, our kids, and it's just natural, you know. He's a tall kid, he's a fast kid, he can play this, he can play that, and then it's easier and it's more accessible. I can go to the park and I can shoot a basketball, right? So now I'm working on my skills right now. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to lawyer, doctor, that's more further off. You see what I'm saying?
It's a tough conversation too. Because I definitely concur with what you're saying. It's a tough conversation with kids that's 7th, 8th grade, and they tell you this is what I want to do. Because to us, right now, we have this dream of it's this or nothing, right? So it's like, why do we not teach that to kids? That it's this or nothing. It's tough with like sports and stuff like that, because the percentage of you actually making it is so low. But how come we don't push them the same thing of like, okay, if it's basketball, then it's got to be this or nothing.
Right.
But I think with Black kids, we do have to make sure that we expose them to so much more, so that their mind is open, just in case this does not work. But I don't want, you know, I'm thinking about if I had kids, I don't want them to think that it's not gonna work. But I need them to know that you've been exposed to art, you know, dancing, whatever it is, to make sure that you got more in your wheelhouse, so that if this doesn't work, you can lean back on something. But I'm all the way with you. I'm all the way with you. If you say you're gonna go to the NFL, I'm gonna ride all the way for you. I'm gonna ride all the way for you. If you say you're gonna be a valedictorian, I'm gonna ride all the way with you. But let's make sure that, you know, I put more bullets in your chamber. So that you're not just sitting around with just one.
And just to that's why it's so important now. I've changed that terminology of sport. Going back to sports is your vehicle, right? So if you look at sports as a vehicle, it can take you as far as you want it to go as long as you're taking care of that vehicle, right? So getting away, because I hated that conversation of you got to have a backup plan when we don't technically have a backup plan, so to speak. We're all into what we're doing, so it's all about the vehicle. That vehicle can take you wherever you want it to go as long as you take care of that vehicle. Right. Eventually, if things don't plan the way or things don't go the way they're supposed to, you can end up, that vehicle can stop and you got to figure out what exit to get off on. But sports got me so many places, right? So I just think it's important to look at sports as a vehicle.
So let me ask you this, because some people are saying it's positive, some people are saying it's negative. Overtime is an organization that found Zion Williams. Right now, they partner with Adam Silver, and they're about to start a new league called Overtime. And what it will be is the top 30 to 50 athletes in the nation, high school basketball superstars. They'll get a $100,000 scholarship to represent Team Overtime for a year. Once they graduate high school, they get an option. You can go to the G League and prep for the NBA, or you can go get another $100,000 scholarship and go to the college of your choice. Some people are saying it's negative because that's too young for kids to have that amount of money, et cetera, et cetera. Other people are saying, it's on the fence right now. How do y'all feel about that? Plus, y'all have a sports background, so I know that might kind of be like, wow.
I mean, I think it goes back to the conversation we was having the other day, yesterday, and kind of like the question you just asked is how come from here we don't get that same exposure, or like why is it like I gotta make it out
right
from here? And I think it's one of those situations where people see the money. People see the money. You got people, kids coming from messed up situations. So like, it ain't there's no waiting time on. So they're like, I'm not trying to sit in college for 4 years. Like, if I know I can make this check and still hoop. I mean, I think it was always gonna get back to kids coming out of high school, and going straight to the league and doing what they do best. But I mean, I was just thinking about progression is a bitch. Progression can be a bitch, like because it's forever changing, and you gotta keep up. So like, you can't be mad that 5 years ago you didn't get the chance to leave out of high school,
right?
Like,
right, you gotta want it to get better. You gotta hope the progression comes. If so, I think it's. And like X said, for 17 years, this kid has, especially in those more turbulent situations, this kid has seen all of this stuff in their life. And then you get this opportunity that because I can play this sport, I can now support my family. You want me to go another 4 years to wait for the possibility? And all this has happened in 17 years. More than likely, they're going to go ahead and take that opportunity. But what I was going to say is I think it's super important that not just money comes, education has to come with it, right? So some form of support for the family, some type of financial advising, something has to come with, that lump sum of money or that amount of money to help kids, understand it and help families understand it. Because when you don't come from money, no one understands how to use it, right? If you can't manage $1,000, how you figure out how you gonna manage $100,000?
And it's crazy, but that's not what they're gonna sell them on.
That's not what they're gonna sell them on.
Yep. So that's, I mean, I think it's important. It goes back to what we're doing on a daily basis of making sure that kid is prepared. You know what I'm saying, mentally, physically, socially, emotionally, to take on that much money. Like, at the end of the day, you get locked in a contract. You locked in a contract.
That is true. Whew, I learned that lesson. And that's a whh nother discussion. But in 1400, I see people struggling just to balance that out. So giving somebody 100.
It's tough. It's tough.
These stimmies
is hitting. It's crazy. For me personally, I can only imagine how difficult it can be for other people. Just speaking of the stimmies, because me and the wife have this plan. This is what we're gonna do when it comes. As soon as that money hit, it's like, what did we say we was going to do? It's like, that whole plan is, but
so I can I got it.
So I got it. So I can imagine how it is with other people. So helping, helping, those kids understand it. But I see it starting in Little League. I think the parents and us as adults have such a huge and this is any part of life, but have such a huge effect on kids and little league teams and how we support them mentally and what sports is used for. I think it starts as little as little league when kids are seeing coaches fight each other over players, or when or when you seeing parents argue and fight on the sideline. Like, I think we unfortunately set that tone for how important sports are. Right. Yeah. So when we're doing those things, now they're seeing them. So now they've realized this is all I have because my mama fought. My coach went across town and told me I couldn't play for this team and I had to play for this team and all of this stuff. And we put so much onus on that when a lot of times us as adults, we're trying to live our missed opportunities through kids at times. And we haven't discuss that and kind of work through those issues.
Then you get to school, you get up to the place you want to go. You like, man, this ain't even it.
Yep.
Like, this ain't even it. I didn't live my whole life
this ain't
trying to get to this moment.
And you realize how hard it is.
You realize how hard it is, and then you realize that you don't even like. You're a pawn.
Yeah, every bit of it.
You're a pawn.
Every bit of it.
They tell you when to eat. They tell you when to sleep. They tell you what to wear. They tell you when you gonna wear it. They tell you when you gonna do your homework. They tell you when you gonna live. When you gonna watch film, they're gonna tell you what you gonna do, what you can say, what you can't say, what you can post, what you can't post, what apps you can have, when you could do this. Like, I mean,
if you go against it, they tarnish your name, right? I saw what happened to Deshaun
Watson.
Yes, Watkins.
That boy to put two names together, two players.
Hey, y'all remember it's 6 a.m. All right, well, look,
it's
teams. Not. It's 7-18.
They did play Clemson together. Yeah, so
time went back.
So yeah. But just to speak,
but that, y'all, let me go back. It's a hell of a moment. It's a hell of a opportunity. Don't take that away from me. Yeah. Don't take that away from what I'm saying. Like, the pinnacle of sports is the league, of course, but to make it to D1, to play the sport you love, is beyond the most beautiful thing in the world. Just know this is some stuff that comes with it. Yeah. Just know that. Don't think that, it's going to be easier than high school just because you see the glory and all that stuff. Like, it's some stuff that comes with it.
Yeah.
I loved every moment of it, but I also learned a lot from it that if I could go back to high school, I might do some things different. That's just real.
And for me, I would embrace the moment. I would embrace where I am more, right? So we always, especially when you become a higher level athlete, you're always looking forward. Oh, I'm gonna play at this school. I'm gonna play at that level. I would have embraced the opportunity to play because the game is over super fast. You don't realize it until you look back. And then going back to how hard the league is, or getting there, I didn't realize, your whole dream, your whole life is to make it to the next level, the show. You don't realize really how hard it is until you get to that collegiate level, right? And I didn't realize like the actual amount of work that needed to go in on top of just your God-given talents and skills to get to the next level, right? And I didn't realize that. And then it's a conversation with yourself. Is this, like you said, is this really what you want, like you say you want it? And I saw a post the other day that was really hit home. It said most people want to spend $1 million. No one wants to earn $1 million. Right. Right. And then that hit home is that when we think about it, I'm gonna be a millionaire. No, you want to spend $1 million. And then that can carry over not just sports to so many parts of our life about are we working to earn it? Are we going through the steps, or we just want to spend it? Right.
And honestly, I gotta apologize to y'all athletes because I just remember the college days. I was on the other side, stands was, we were just chilling,
regular student
living life. All we saw was y'all just doing 3 a days, but I just used to complain because y'all were never in class. Like, but now I understand why.
And that's not. Man, that's not a.
Look, I said what I said.
I don't know what
I said. What I said.
No, but I mean, it's definitely a lot harder to be a student athlete at a high level and compete and constantly have to show up. And we was talking about that the other day. It's just like, coming from here, everybody in your high school thinks that you are like that. Like, I knew I was like that coming out of high school. Right. And I knew I could compete.
Right. Yeah.
Then when you get to camp,
everybody
was that like everybody that has that same mentality. Plus, they got a whole city behind them that has told them that they're like that. So just imagine the confidence they come in with.
So, who's that?
We got a guest.
Uh-oh. Welcome.
Pull him up a chair. Welcome to TOL.
Welcome.
Absolutely.
Come on in, boss man.
Got enough space right there?
Yeah. I sit back.
What's good?
That's it. How we doing?
What's good? Doing well.
Chat, how we doing, baby?
I'd like to introduce a good friend, a mentor, community leader, coach, entrepreneur, a designer to the show, Mr. Champ Hubbard.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Let's put that round of applause. Yes, sir. Welcome to the show, brother.
And just
thanks for waking up with us.
that's right. And for the people out there just watching, go and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Give us a little 30-second
Little
spiel.
spiel.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Man, I'm nobody, man. I'm just a guy that's from Roanoke, Virginia, and decided to come back home. And that's pretty much a synopsis of who I am. I've been here since I was a kid. Went to Winston-Salem State. I actually went to William Fleming High School, then went to Winston-Salem State. Graduated from there. Then went to grad school at George Mason University and lived up in DC for a little while, but I came back home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And wasn't necessarily the decision that we wanted to do, but it was home for us.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it felt great anyway. So and I think it's probably been the best decision I ever made in my life, being back around this time. So.
Wow.
It's crazy because we were just talking about the same conversation I've had with him, with Champ before. Is just like how athletes don't get the same recognition from here as they would from 7-5 or
Correct.
you know, they don't get that city love, or they don't just get that push. You know, I was speaking about how, like, when I went to school, everybody thinks that you're like that. Like, you just know I'm like that. Like, I was the best in my high school.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you get to another city where it's 3 of them that's right in front of you, and they all like that, and they got that city push that's in front of them too. So this episode is going to be named More Than a Game.
That's
right. And so we got some good questions for you.
That is,
That's
and one thing we all have in common is the fact that we came back to Roanoke,
Right.
and so we're able to like notice those differences between those big cities and Roanoke. Why do you think we're not noticeable like those big cities when we have amazing talent?
It's a good question. I think my answer for that is that I think, and I could be wrong, but I always had this in my mind. I don't think the powers that be, if you want to use that as a way of talking about it, really want Roanoke to be a metropolitan.
I like that.
I look at the fact that
Never heard that one.
one of the things I really look at is that I was a big fan of concert shows, and at one time, way before y'all, I was born in 1973. Y'all probably
that
was born in 1990.
Daniel, you close it up.
Yeah, 1990 on the dot.
Yeah, you might have one on here, brother.
We had wheels. They were still using blocks. I'm playing. That's a joke.
I got 30
No.
jokes for you.
No, I just happy I got somebody in here. I got somebody in here that I can go with, because they always calling me the old head.
That's it. Yeah, I still gonna eat that. Blocks, that's the Flintstones type shit. All right. So anyway, what I think of, I look at the Civic Center. I use that as a good example. At one time, the Civic Center was a spot.
Talking to the mic. There you go.
I need to get
A little bit more cordage.
Yeah, I ain't never been on the microphone like this. You know what I mean? Like,
Go back to coaching.
That's it.
I look at the Civic Center, and like I said, a lot of concerts used to come through here. They were passing through here to go to Greensboro, wherever else. But 10,000 people seated in Roanoke Civic Center was a huge deal back when we were younger. They never expanded. This artists continuously come through there. Greensboro got bigger. All the surrounding areas within 2 hours from here got bigger. Scope was probably one of the biggest at the time. That's down in Norfolk. But the Civic Center was actually relevant, and it never got bigger.
Wow.
Then you look at all the hotels. This is a place of meeting. A lot of people have their meetings here. Their district, their regionals, their statewide, their national meetings here. And then another great example is if you look at the abandoned mall over at Tanglewood.
Yeah.
Why is that not an outlet?
Yes.
Why is it not
If you
outlet?
want people to come through here, I mean, if
Yeah.
you really do,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the things that you do.
Yeah.
And I just think it's like a family environment. They wanted to keep it that
Keep
way.
it family.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not surprised at what I see. For you guys, the new generation, maybe you can make moves. At the end of the day, we were a little bit laid back.
Yeah,
We waited our turn.
Yeah.
You guys trying to bust through the door. So it's a little
love it.
different.
That's real.
Okay.
That's real.
One question I personally have for you is about fly codes, because I've just noticed it over time.
Mhm.
What made you transition to being an entrepreneur?
Honestly, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't never know what way I was going to approach the opportunity. And with fly codes, it kind of fell in my lap because actually I was coaching basketball at William Fleming High School. And anybody that knows me, I'm about looking good while you performing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
good, play
Even
good.
though I don't always
Play
look good, but I
You
want
your
the
players
people
to be
around me
good.
to
Right,
look really
right,
good.
right.
So, and I really feel like that's a stigma. So if you
Mm.
don't want to be embarrassed, you're gonna do your best
That's
to look
it.
good, and you're
That's
gonna do
it.
your very best to work hard to look good. So,
Like that.
long story short, we end up getting socks for the girls basketball team because we couldn't afford getting uniforms every year. So I could get socks, and we can raise money and get shoes.
Yeah.
I ain't getting no uniforms every
Yeah.
year. I already know that the city is not gonna have that. So it started off with we wanted some custom socks that would stand out for us. So I got exactly the amount that we needed for the team and the coaches and 2 managers. Long story short, we ended up getting WF on the socks, and for some reason it took hold. A lot of people in the community was like, "Yo, can we get those socks?" and blah blah blah. And we was like, "No." So that helped initiate what I wanted to initiate in the girls' mind, that you're special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when they had these socks, it was kind of like superpowers. So they was like, "Yo,
yeah.
you can't have these." They teasing the boys wanted them. So it just continued to develop every year. So we got more and more different colors or whatnot. And I noticed that the other schools, the teams that we would play, they were looking at the socks like, "Yo, where y'all get them socks at?"
Yeah.
Like at the end of the game after they just got beat, they like, "Yo," because we had 5 for 0 on the socks by that time because we were representing this area. And I remember going to Danville and they were like, "Yo, where you get those socks at?" And we just beat y'all by 20 points.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know the rivalry with Danville and anybody in this area.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to beat them. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
we beat them and they completely forgot about the loss. So when we shaking hands, they
Based
thinking
on the-
about the socks. And I'm like, "Yo, I got something there."
Yeah.
So we decided to go ahead and push forward with the socks. And the other reason that we did the 5 for 0 was to get the college scouts to know where we're from.
Yeah.
Because if you think of Virginia, and Xavier and I have talked about this a couple of times, most of the recruiting comes from 757, which is the Tidewater area.
That's right.
804, which is the
804,
Richmond
yep,
area,
yep.
and then 703,
Northern
which is
Virginia.
in Northern Virginia.
That's it.
We're the
Yeah.
I want to say it the right step kids, bastards, whatever you want to call us.
He said bastards.
Last man on totem pole.
Right,
We
the
at the
very
bottom. We at the
last.
bottom.
So
That's
at
it.
least that's the way they look at us.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we
yeah.
got a major college right
Right,
35
right.
minutes away
That's
from
right.
us, and we
That's
can't
it.
get kids to go
Right.
at that school.
good
So it's
job.
really weird. But so I just also said, the further that we go, the more people will see those socks and be like, "Why they got 5 for 0 on their socks?" And then it'll click in their head, it's our area code.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out in our favor. And I don't know, God blessed us and gave me an opportunity to say, "All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and start a brand." And the funny thing about it, the first day I released the socks and they came wrong. They were too small. It was almost like a thumb of 5 for 0 going down the socks, which is absolutely not what I wanted.
Yeah.
But I posted it on Facebook at
Went
the
crazy.
time and it went crazy. Within like 3 hours, all the socks, no lie, all the socks, I had
Wow.
70 pair, all of them were gone.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And it
Wow.
wasn't any kids buying them, it was all parents. And I'm
Wow.
like, wow. So, I just stayed low with that as my little part-time gig. And the more and more I decided that it was time for me to evolve from coaching and go ahead and retire, I needed an outlet. And I've always was pushed kind of like to the borderline if this is what I want to do. We had plenty of talks with a lot of people, Xavier, a couple other people, Jarrell Rhodes, about do I really want to jump off of that cliff? And because it's a scary thing to do.
Oh,
We've
man.
talked about that.
'Cause my father always told us that we need to have foundation, we need to have stability,
Savings,
we need to have continual finances. So, long story short, I just went on ahead and actually it forced me. I got laid off November 19th.
Yeah.
Okay.
November the 1st, 2019, I got laid off. So instead of going to look for another job, I said,
That's
hey,
it.
I'm just going
It's
to go ahead and
opportunity.
I'm already out
Yeah.
here. I'm already out here.
And I had already started doing some of the apparel. And we collaborated on a couple of things and ideas. And I've been a person that, you know, even though I want my own stuff, I also listen because I need to know what you wear. I know what I wear, but I want to know what you wear and what you looking for. And we've been able to do uniforms, apparel. We've given workers shirts. We just donated some hats to Winston-Salem State University, which is true to my heart because I played football down there one year, but the coaching staff down there for the women's basketball team, they didn't get any money because of COVID. So we donated some hats down there to them. And these little things that we're able to do has been pretty well and pretty good. And for a year, we've made it for a year and a couple months now without having, that's all I've been doing. It's just working there. And that's the blessing in itself. Because I have a degree. Yeah. And it's always, I got a backup plan.
That's it. That's it.
I got
just talking about
that. You got to have a backup plan. Well, you don't have to. I feel like it's best to have a backup plan. I got a master's degree, so I can always go back and get an education, back into education. But this is my shot to, and I let coaching go because, you know, it was just overwhelming at times.
That's actually my next question.
No.
That's actually part of my next question. How has coaching transitioned or carried over into being an entrepreneur? How has that coaching mentality or anything from coaching kind of helped to sustain you as an entrepreneur now?
Well, it's a positive for being assertive, but it also could be a negative because I was a dictator. You know, I call myself a dictator. As far as coaching, it was my way or the highway. Even though I had assistant coaches beside me, like I have people right now, I would hear what they were saying, but I knew I was going to make the decision on my own because I'm the one that's going to critique myself when I go home. Right? Why did we lose or why did we win? What could we have done better? So the same thing in the business field. I've been doing most of the stuff by myself with the aiding of my wife. And I got two other workers that's working with me. Both of my brothers, my brother-in-law and my blood brother. Those are the people I depend on. But most of the stuff is through me, which I need to change. And that's what I'm saying. That's the negative because I need to change, and it's hard to let go. You know, it's just kind of like, I don't know, if you washing a car and you say, all right, we'll go ahead and wash my car, but you looking over them like, you missed the spot right there, you know, instead of just saying, all right, I can do it myself. So that's the hard part for me is transitioning and adding people to the opportunity and being trustworthy on that aspect.
I think it goes, I know I just kind of had a realization as you talking, like I think the reason why I go so hard within my entrepreneur spirit with that hustler spirit, humble mentality is because it didn't work with football. So everything that I know that I didn't give in football to get to the league, to get to that pinnacle moment, like we was talking about, I make sure I put it all in this. It's like I learned my lesson. I didn't lift weights enough. I didn't watch film enough. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't pay attention in class enough. But it's like God gave me one more chance. Like I'm gonna give you one more chance to make this thing right. And I'm gonna bless you with this. Boom, what you gonna do with it?
Right.
And now it's like I can't stop. Like I'm gonna take every opportunity. I'm gonna stay up late. I'm gonna do what I gotta do because I know I might not get this shot again.
You better.
So I think that's a hell of a I think that's a good.
And I have a question for you as well. Okay. It made me think. I see that you still have that passion for coaching still in you. How do you? Oh, you don't? It's gone.
Go ahead, ask your question.
Okay, no, I'm sorry because I just heard how you were talking about it. I just want to know. With COVID and all these situations with kids not being able to play, how have you been like feeling about that?
Man, that's another good. Y'all, that's pretty good, man.
We try early in the morning, you know.
That's it.
I mean, because I have a take on that. Honestly, man, I have a son that's 16 years old. And the pressure on him being an athlete was tough early on. And he played up till he was in third grade, and then he kind of fell back. And a lot of the times I was not giving that extra push because I'm like, well, all right, I got all these girls I'm responsible for. And at the same time, you know, you're doing great in school, whatever. And I'm just going to lean into what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That pressure of me falling back, sometimes I feel like maybe do I regret it or do I not? And then I look at his success as an individual and as a young man, and I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong right
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Like everything is where I need.
love
And so I say all that to say that there's a different passion when he wants to get out there on the court, though. So when he wants to go shoot around and he wants to work out, I'm like, let's go. Back to me. Let's go. So, and my mind is, I'm gonna make you the best player in the entire world. And he's damn good. Shooting the ball, things that we work on, he's pretty good at it. But we did all that work because he wanted to try out for the JV team this year. COVID hit, and now I'm in a dilemma saying, this is my kind of like one of my dreams to see my son out there killing the game. The other part is it's my only son. So now you're in a dilemma of like, do I even want my kid to be involved in that? Because what you're protecting here, what about when you go there?
You just have another kid.
So we ultimately, what you just say?
I said you just have another kid.
Oh no, not at 47. No. You listen. I do not want to be a great granddad.
You see how his face changed?
Yeah, wait a minute. I thought about that. I don't want to be no great granddaddy with no kid at graduation.
Is that your brother? No, that's my.
Is that when I was young? I remember looking at people at graduation like, "Yo, Dad, 50?
Yeah,
and that's how old I'm gonna be. That's crazy. But anyway, I had a decision. We had a decision to make, and we do everything together. Instead of me being that person, like my dad made the decision for me growing up. You playing football. Hurry me, get your stuff. You better get good grades. You're gonna play football, basketball, baseball, and everything else. And you go out there and play, and you better not lose no fight. So that's the way I was kind of brought up. And one thing I learned about people, and it's to a fault, to a sense, is we try to teach our kids we try to do the things that's easier for our kids. That's what your goal is. Like you're doing all this to set up to make sure your kid didn't have to go through the same thing. To a fault. Because there was a time when I've gotten to the education field. When I first got in the education field, I called the kids the timeout kids. I was like, timeout? Because I kept hearing the other teachers say timeout. I said, that ain't going to work. Put them in a corner, tell them to be quiet. And it worked. But the mentality is those timeout kids are grown and they're having kids now. And these kids are strictly on the game. So it's a disconnect. So to go back to your COVID thing, like it's perfect for people that are not athletes because they get to be at home. When you go back to the point of just how do we feel about the COVID? I really honestly felt like the kids deserved to play, but I was really suspect of them being out. Period. I don't care if they were saying that the older people were getting sick or whatever the situation is. I was actually nervous about kids going down to South Carolina playing travel ball, wherever they were going. I was always just paying attention to it because I'm nervous about that. You know what I mean? Then you look at college, they got to be lying. Somebody got to be sick on their team. You know what I mean? On the whole football team,
they got to be lying.
The entire world is sick, and the football team is not. Come on, bro.
So
so that was just my take on it. Like going through that COVID thing, it's a fine line. You want to be safe, or do you want to just go ahead and risk it all? And that's the way I looked at it. I said I wanted him to be able to be safe as possible, and like I said, that's our only one too. Maybe if we had more, and
that's where my whole entrepreneurial walk, because right now I went back, motivate the game, and I used what quote unquote saved me growing up with sports, but now I look at it like all of those negative pieces of the game of not wanting to go home after practice because things were too chaotic, and not really being able to have someone to talk to, because coaches back then worried about building up the man, right? And worried about building up who I was. So I just I
don't think that's changed.
It hasn't changed for the intent, but the ability and the time to be able to do it has changed, because
I don't think that's true,
because the importance of winning has risen so
I
much.
I guess I can only speak. No, not even that. It's not even a disagreement. It's more of, I guess it's situation based. It's situation based, because my coach cared about bringing up the man, and he put us around people that cared about building up the man. And then we had teachers or principal. I had a principal that cared about bringing up the man. So I don't think it's based on time. I think it's based on the person.
It's based on a person, but also the amount of people. So Motivate the Game was created to be another layer, because especially with our kids, when they go home, it's so many more negatives pulling at them than anything positive, right? So you might have a parent, might have a mom, dad, coach, teacher. You might have 4 or 5 people in your life who's pulling on you, but then on the other side, it's all of these negative situations. You dealing with the mental side, you dealing with social media, you dealing with all those things. So what I'm saying is adding more layers even outside of your traditional team. You see what I'm saying? So and just what I've seen is that, and this is my own experience, is unless you're the star player or the player who has a lot of potential on the court, you might not get as much attention off the court or about other things that's going on with you. So that's the other part I was saying. If you're the star and they see potential in you, then you might get a little bit more attention.
I got you.
Okay. Sir, do you have any anything you would like to let the people know before we kind of
not really, man. Honestly, I'm proud of you guys, be honest
Thank
with you,
you.
because
Thank
this is a forum that allows people to be themselves. You know what I mean? And we need to know what's on your mind. You know, there's a disconnect with a lot of people that are my age and the younger kids.
I agree.
It's a lot of grumbling.
Yeah.
Like, why the heck are you painting something on the wall? You know what I mean? Or why are you wearing long sleeves and shorts?
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Got him.
But then also, I'm gonna be real with you. Also, we look at
carpet.
We look at
That is all what today.
Then we also look at how were you able to get a whole reggae concert at a park?
Yeah.
And then we found out you just asked questions.
Yeah.
You communicated while we were always sitting back like, I guess somebody else will do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
wow.
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Man.
And it goes back to like what I said. It goes back to that back in school.
Mm-hmm.
You sitting around waiting for answers,
right?
Waiting for a coach to tell you that you could get in, but you ain't asked him, the new plays or whatever.
Right.
So honestly, when I got here and I put a post up about this yesterday, it's about just getting uncomfortable, just really getting uncomfortable. And I've made that my mission since I moved back home, is to get uncomfortable and stay uncomfortable, because with discomfort, it comes growth.
Right.
So I know that if I ask questions, you may look at me stupid, but I'm gonna get the answer.
Right.
And if I don't get it from you, I'm gonna make sure that I get some emotions out of you that tell me that you're not the one to ask. So then I'm gonna ask somebody else.
And that shows that you're 10 steps ahead of the
right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you playing chess and other people playing checkers.
Playing the long
We
game.
thinking like, all right, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And you like, well, I'm gonna do this to get to that,
Right.
and then get to that.
Right.
And that's a beautiful thing that you guys, some of you kids, I say kids, some of you guys are doing, man. And then there's a lot of negatives with that as well, because sometimes, all right, okay, you can bust through the door, but what you gonna do when you get through the door?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Right.
now you messing up for all the people that was sitting at the doorbell, like, when we gonna get our chance?
That's true.
You know what I mean? So it's you got to take that responsibility. And one thing I would definitely say, I want to give a shout out to Jordan Bell. Jordan was in one of my classes, and the reason I'm giving a shout out to Jordan Bell is because that young man has embraced history.
Yeah,
and that's something that can't be ignored. When you're probably my phone. When you embrace history, it means a lot. That's the connection. That's the connection to the people that are over you, because they remember what it used to be, and they need that. They need to hear that you understand.
Yeah,
right.
I every day I listen to hip hop. It's the worst stuff in the world right now. No disrespect. I love the beats.
Yeah, love the beats.
But I caught myself singing a song the other day, and I'm thinking I'm singing something different, and I'm like, yo. I don't even want to say what the name of the song is. The name don't sound right.
Yeah.
What's the name of the song?
Throat.
I knew it. Oh, wow. He was in that car.
I was like, hey, baby.
Hey, hitting at the
throat, baby.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's
and I actually hit XM by accident, and they said, oh.
Wait a minute.
Cut this off.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Sorry, God. I didn't know
I was the
singing.
same way the first time I heard it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was
like that at your party.
Yeah,
I know.
First time I heard it was at your party.
Oh, you didn't know what it was saying?
I knew, but a lot of people that it was saying throw baby.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of it but that's the world today.
Yeah.
And you gotta, you move with it, and it is what it is. But I've been blessed, man.
Drop that tag. How people get in contact with you?
flycodesapparel.com. You just Google Fly Codes. I
That's
just
it,
made
man.
it simple as possible. If you want to shop with us, just Google Fly Codes. Everything is not always on the website, but I'm very approachable. See, and that's one of our keys right now is that you can contact me. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Got
If you, especially in Roanoke, take advantage of it, because if we actually do blow up, I won't be approachable as much.
That's it.
But my goal is to still be able to be in contact with the individuals in this community. I love Roanoke. I even love Roanoke County now because I live out in the county.
That's it.
I always had a divide before. If you go on that side of Peters Creek, or if you go to Salem or whatever, but the mentality has to change.
That's
That's the reality of it. And I just want to give a shout out to my mom. My mom and dad's anniversary is today.
Happy anniversary.
48 years married.
48
years married.
48 years.
It's been a blessing. Beautiful. And that's another thing too. And I'm not knocking anybody, but I had my mom and dad at home. So they raised the person that I have become today. And this has been a lot of times I'm like, man, I want to hang out till 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm probably one of the more popular people at my high school when I graduated, or during the time of graduation. I'm in the house at 12.
Yeah.
Back then, see, I don't know what time y'all. Back then, going in at 12 was like a sin, because we had clubs to go to, teen clubs and stuff, and parties, and we had places to go. But I understand now, you know what I mean? And it's just, I've been blessed to be here, and I appreciate y'all looking out for me.
Absolutely. We gotta have you back for another, because that's a whole nother conversation. Because you're
48 years.
No, that. But no, I'm talking about
that's a long time.
No, that's a long time. No, I was talking about.
I knew you was gonna get back on those shorts.
No. I was talking about how growing up with being a black man, having your mother and your father, right?
Oh, yes.
Because that's some.
We talked about that last time.
Yeah, and I just said, well, I want to have you back one day, kind of talk about the importance of that.
I just think it's important.
You're one of very few black men that I know.
Nobody in this room.
So you're 1 out of 4.
So let me tell you this, though, and being in education, there was a time when it was an oxymoron to have one parent. So when I was in school, you had both parents at home most of the time. The ones that were really popular and cool and fresh and could do anything and would act up in class, they had one parent at home.
Oh, okay.
The ones that was reserved and, all right, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, they had both parents at home. So I tell you this, when I started teaching, I looked at the school, I looked at the shape of the cafeteria, and I could pick out all the kids that had, no disrespect, single parent homes. Yeah. Yeah. And it just, you could just see it. You could sense it. And a lot of it's funny, like Tobron raised his hand, but I know all their parents. Like most of the parents that are around here, and I know them. And, I know their situation. I know how things came about. And, you have a tender heart for it, but you got to be that extra parent.
Yep.
Right. That's another discussion. Y'all should really look into that thing that happens in school. How significant is the teachings in school with home?
I love it.
That's a real issue that we have right now.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you, Mr. Champ, man. I appreciate you coming in.
Definitely.
Definitely looking forward to connecting with you more.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, boss.
It's been love.
It is. Thank you.
I got a little something for y'all.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering what was in that bag.
What's in that bag? What's in that bag?
I can't take my hat off right now.
Oh, it matches you.
No, it does not match.
It's a contrast. It's a contrast.
This is what 35 and up wears. Matching colors, matching patterns,
and 30
contrasting and
wears wool.
For the camera, one time for the camera.
There we go. Yeah,
Fly Codes.
It's mine.
That's it.
He's got the white on.
How you get the? Oh, you got the white one.
Huh?
Yeah, you got the.
Yeah. You mad?
Yeah.
He noticed contrast.
He noticed that.
Contrast.
I got some contrast for you. I got some contrast for you.
No, I appreciate this. I can't put mine on right now.
No, you can't.
I ain't shave my head.
His head matches his outfit too. That wool on the head. Stop. Okay. All right. I appreciate you, boss.
Yes, sir.
Man. Yes, sir.
That's love. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you.
Till next time, boss.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's love.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Walk out.
Walk
You found the door.
Don't make sure it don't hit you.
You got me outside in the cold.
That's it.
Blue down here.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Nope. If you left some money,
Came with some gems and left some gems.
That's it. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sir.
Thank you.
Sir, man.
No, that was a good one.
That was
a good one,
brother.
That was
I
dope,
like that. I
man.
like that a lot.
It's more than a game.
Yeah.
Wow. What you about to say?
No, I just think it gets back to just one, somebody wanting to come home and loving to come home, and then knowing that when he came home, he made it his mission to do more.
Right.
To give the kids more,
to
give people more, to break through break through doors and break through the door with something.
Mhm.
Like I said, that's a mentor to me. He taught me a whole lot about a lot of things. He grew up with my pop, so
Okay.
He's the one that told me about, hey, this is how your dad was. This is how your dad was. Like,
That's fire.
So it's a very special person to me. And just to see, no matter what age you are, no matter what level you are, like, it's okay to chase your dream. Like, and it can work. Like, it can really work. You jump off that cliff, no matter where you are in life. Like, there's a purpose out here for everybody.
Timing, timing is perfect timing.
And so, absolutely, same way we ended every week, brothers. Final thoughts?
Yeah, let me think about mine for a second.
Well,
won't you? What's your final thought?
Don't flip it on me. There you go. I'm thinking about mine too.
So we good. It just goes back to, I posted this on our Motivate the Game page, is just try to beat yesterday. Yesterday was a really a lot of discomfort for me yesterday, and that's why your post hit home. Discomfort is growth, or equals growth, or leads to growth. Just because it's one of those uncomfortable situations for me yesterday, and managing what shouldn't have been conflict, but is a form of conflict, right? And when you're in this world of being an entrepreneur and you're out here, in the middle of the ocean, trying to figure out your way, you got to embrace some things that may not be you. So I focus on beating the person I was yesterday, right? So today is no competition against nobody else. Don't compete with anyone else. If you can beat the you from yesterday, you're 10 steps ahead. There really is no competition. I'm not saying that you're better than anyone, but if you just compete with yourself, you try to be better version of yourself every single day, you'll be surprised where you end up. MotivateTheGame.com.
That's love.
MotivateTheGame.com.
That's it.
Yeah. So you want to go? I figured mine out as I was just sitting there thinking. I had a good day yesterday. I beat myself yesterday from the day before.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. I just want to encourage everybody to bet on yourself. That's been my word for the last 24 hours, is really bet on yourself. I had an opportunity to speak. I could be transparent about it. I had an opportunity to speak to a group of individuals. I had spoken to them before. I've been telling everybody I'm getting to this consulting game, getting to this speaking game with my knowledge and just moving forward, progressing, soaking up knowledge. It's time for me to start to put that game out and teach people. I'm speaking, and I charged a fee last time. This time I charged a fee, and I didn't bet on myself. I didn't bet on myself all the way. I thought that I needed to take a little bit away from it based off of what I was presenting, and I presented so well, and I gave so much knowledge, so much game. Like 30 people hit me back and was just like, "Yo, don't charge less than this anymore."
Yeah.
And it was like triple what I charge. Like,
Yeah.
don't charge this. Put this on your resume. Go for it. Do not charge less than this anywhere you go. If they say no, then they don't need you right now.
Yeah.
But it was just another moment of me, like, I bet on myself and any other thing. And I know this is just a lane that I'm just starting to walk in, but I just want to encourage people, like, bet on yourself even when you think it's not right. Yeah. Even when you bet on yourself, even when you think that you shouldn't charge this much or you shouldn't do this, like, have that much confidence in yourself that it's going to work regardless. Just another situation that kind of hit hard. And so many opportunities came right after that. But last night, literally within hours. So I just want to encourage everybody that if whatever you're in, whatever you're doing, bet on yourself. Like, that whatever that price is in your head, you're worth that. Know your worth. Like, and at that moment, I just didn't know my worth. And it's just a transparent moment. Like, I just didn't know my worth. I thought I should scale it back a little bit based on the content, but I'm worth what I'm worth, and I know my worth now, and I'm not folding no more for that. So bet on yourself, definitely.
Okay. I don't have much for y'all today, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Y'all gave us 2 powerful quotes, you know, thinking out loud.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Thinking out loud.
Appreciate you.